Good morning to each and every one of you. So here we are on another Monday morning. Week's flying by so fast. So we need to make the most of every second that we have, don't we? Yes, we do. So this morning, the keys to stability, mobility and flexibility as we age. I've done one on functional purposeful movement, but what I wanted to do today is explain a few things that we can do as we get a little older to make a really, really big difference to how our body functions. Okay, so by the time we get to about 40, we've maybe got a few little bits and pieces going on. You may have had some previous injuries, all of that sort of thing. So moving our body with better purpose as we get a little bit older is absolutely vital. We need to change the way we move as we get older, as I have discussed before. So stability, mobility and flexibility change as we age. That means we need to change the way we do certain things. The best way is to obviously move. What used to benefit us before will no longer benefit you in the same manner. So you used to be able to, maybe you were somebody who used to go to lots of different classes and things like that, and you're finding that now certain things are starting to aggravate your body, certain types of movement. That can be for many, many different reasons. But what I wanted to go through today, I'm going to move back just a little bit, is some of the important things that we want to think about when we're doing certain movement types during our day. So I haven't discussed this particular thing yet on any of my lives. You've got your muscles. You know you've got muscles that cover everywhere in your body. On top of your muscles is something called fascia. Fascia is like if you get a piece of chicken and you take the skin off the chicken, underneath that skin you have a very silky filament that you can't quite grab and you can't quite get hold of. It can be very frustrating if you're trying to pull that fascia off that chicken breast. Well, we're covered in the same sort of silky filament, except ours interweaves. So ours goes diagonal, goes in all different directions, covering every single one of your muscles from pretty much from your head to your toe. So delving into all the science that we've got now, coming up now, all the science that's coming out showing us all these things we didn't actually know our body did. So the function of the fascia, they weren't exactly sure. When they operated on people and they found this web-like coating, they'd kind of take it out and throw it away, not knowing that they were actually taking something that gives the body ability to have additional strength when you know how to turn it on. So that silky filament sometimes infiltrates the muscle as well, which then makes a difference to how the muscle works when we're putting it under load. Yep, pushing, pulling, lifting, that sort of thing. You're working out, whatever you're doing, putting the body under a little bit of increased tension. Okay, so the thing is, once our bodies start to evolve, and I'm going to use the word evolve instead of age. Okay, so as our body evolves, because that's what's happening, let's put the word aging and older, and let's put evolving in its place. You know what I'm like with language, the language we use. So let's use the word as we evolve. I think that sounds much nicer, don't you? What once benefited us is maybe not going to be quite as good. We need to adapt what we do. And as I've said before, the older you get, the more you need to move. But that doesn't necessarily mean setting certain time aside to do other activities. It's about pushing, pulling, and lifting with better form. Because during the day you do push, pull, and lift. You pull things towards you, push things away from you, and you lift things up. Yep, and down, put them down. So what I want to talk to you about today is the disconnection you can sometimes feel when you go to do a movement you haven't done for a while. So, for example, maybe it's a sport you haven't played for a while, or an activity, bushwalking, something that you haven't done for a while, and you got to do that. You then start to do that activity or the motion, and you might think to yourself, that was a lot harder than what it was the last time I did that. I must be getting weak. My muscles must be getting weak. So what I want to say to you today is a lot of the time it's not actual weakness you feel, it is a disconnection between the brain and that body part. It generally is the legs where we'll feel it most, the weakness, because we start to lose that at 40. Remember, I've discussed it before. Stop using your hands when you get in and out of your chair to push yourself off. Yeah? Am I using my arms or my legs? I'm using my arms. So always pushing out with the legs, because we lose that at 40. So that feeling of, oh, my legs are getting weak. No, they're not. Not necessarily. A lot of the time it's disconnection between this and this. How do I know that? I see it all the time. People come to me, they haven't exercised for a considerable length of time, anywhere from 6 months to years and years, haven't moved for years. I feel really weak. Once we've done some concentrated work where we really use the mind to connect with the muscle while the muscle's working, all of a sudden what they couldn't do a minute or two before, they are now doing. So that tells me you can't build strength that quickly. You can't. It's not physically possible to build strength that quickly. So it has got to be the connection, the reconnection of the mind with the muscle. So how do we change that feeling that we have? Just by thinking and moving at the same time. So for example, if you bend down, I'll get out of my chair for a moment. So, for example, you walk up to something, you go to bend and pick it up, which we've discussed a few weeks ago we don't do, but let's say that's what you do. You bend down and you pick up whatever that is without a lot of thought, apart from just picking that article up. If you change your mindset and the way you go and do what you're doing, picking something up, and you actually change that to a squat, and you say to yourself, I'm doing a squat. I'm going to push through the ground. So we connect mind with muscle. Right, push through that ground. So every time during the day you go to do that action, picking something up, putting something in your washing machine, putting something in the washing machine, putting something in the dishwasher, squeegeeing your bathroom, in your shower, squeegeeing your shower, cleaning out the bath, doing all the functional movements that I have given you in the past. I'm not showing you the movement today. I'm trying to get through to you that if you think when you move, you can reconnect this with this. If you aimlessly do your movements without thinking about them, you just do them and you're maybe thinking about something else. So you're doing an activity where you're moving your body, but your mind is on maybe the next task, or maybe it's on what you're going to cook for dinner. Maybe it's on what you're going to buy at the shops when you go there, rather than the task at hand is the point that I'm making. So when you're doing something that involves movement of your body, think about the muscles that you're engaging and the muscles that you're using so you can keep the connection between this and this. After speaking to so many people, remember I see up to 600 people a week, and people mention a lot of things to me over time. I'm feeling this, I feel that. And then I'll get them to maybe do something, and then they'll come back to me and say that worked. So then I know that that particular person was not suffering from weakness per se. It was a disconnect between the brain and the body. So I spoke to you in the beginning about fascia, this fascia that we have. So if we utilise what we've got, how do we do that? We do that with our toes, our tongue, and our fingertips. When you're standing, it doesn't really work when you're sitting. When you're standing, so I want you all to stand up. So if you're seated, unless you're watching me in the car, then clearly you can't do that. But if you're somewhere you can stand, I want you to stand for me now. All right, feet are hip distance apart. It doesn't matter that you cannot see my feet. I want you to lift your toes, spread the toes, and then put the toes back down again. Okay. So those of you that have been with me a long time know I'm all about the feet. Feet connection. They are so important. You should be not wearing shoes whenever you can. You've got to get those feet to move and mould, yeah? That's why half of us need orthotics, is because you do not use the muscles in your feet. Anyway, I'm digressing. So pick up the toes, spread the toes, pop them back down. Now all I want you to do, think about what you're doing while you're doing it. Push the toes into the ground for me. We'll push with the toes. I'm just pushing my toes down. Actually have a look down at your feet while you're doing that. And notice how the arch of the foot lifts. Okay, so arch of the foot lifts. Keep that on. So keep the feet down, but feel what's going on in the front of your thighs. Feel them turn on. Release them off. Push them down and feel that. You can feel things turning on. Right, release the toes. Then what I want you to do, push the toes back down again, but this time take your mind to your tummy. So push the toes down. Take your mind to your tummy. Can you feel the connection between the toes and the tummy? Yeah, release it off. Do that again. If you have a disconnect between brain and muscle, you might not feel it. You might not actually feel this activating, but it will be. So what you could do, if you can't feel it, put your fingers on your tummy, like really push them in, because I know some of you are saying to me right now, but I've got a tummy. It doesn't matter, just jam them in a little harder. Feel, feel, feel. Toes, ooh, tummy, feel that. Toes, tummy, toes, tummy, legs. Okay, turning on. So so what we're doing is we're actually connecting fascia at the moment. You're turning it on. So now what I want you to do, push your toes down, feel it in your tummy, pull the belly in a little. Now make a fist. Now push the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Can you feel almost every single part of your body connecting and turning into one piece, so to speak? You've just connected from the tip of your head to your toes. Relax. Let's do that again. So push your toes down. Yep. Pull the belly in. Good. Push the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Squeeze with your hands. Feel, 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 feel. You can feel. Even your glutes are on. So when you are doing pushing, pulling, lifting, use your toes, your tongue, your tummy, and your fingertips to turn your fascia on. So when, for example, if you're lifting, legs should automatically go wide to lift something off of the ground. If it's heavy, we're talking about something that's relatively heavy, maybe 10 kilos, more than that, maybe a little bit less, depends on your strength. So what we would do to protect the neck, the back, and the rest of the body, the joint, so what we're doing is we're protecting the joints by utilising the fascia that covers the muscle. You would do the following. To pick this heavy thing up off the floor, you would breathe in through the nose. Okay, we're going to squat down. You're then going to push the toes into the ground. You're going to push the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Belly's on. Yeah? I'm going to hold my breath as well. So as I lift this item, I'm going to push the ground. I'm going to hold my breath. The act of holding your breath while you've got your toes, tummy, tongue on gives you stability. Your breath gives you stability. Did you know that? It stabilizes your body the way you breathe does. So holding the breath when you push through the ground, yep, and engage those legs, it protects spine, it protects neck, just by doing something so very, very simple. Okay. Just a few little bits and pieces of what your body is capable of. The disconnection that you feel between your body and your mind is exactly that. It is a disconnection between the mind and the body. So, by ensuring that you think when you move, that's all I'm saying today. Think when you move. What muscle am I engaging? Am I actually turning my muscle on? So, just look at my arm. My arm is relaxed. Might actually use the right one. So my arm is relaxed as it is. Yep, I've just got it down, it's relaxed. If I use my mind and I think about it, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a fist. First thing I'm going to do is make a fist. Now I'm going to relax it. Fist, so turn it on, off, on, off. Now I'm going to use my mind. So that was just making a fist. Now I'm going to squeeze with my fist, and I'm actually going to think at the same time as well. I'm going to engage that muscle a little more. So that is just squeezing a fist. Look down there. And now I've used my mind. So I'm going to relax that off, make the fist. You can see it engage just a little. And now I'm squeezing with my mind. So the more you think about the movement that you're doing while you're in action, the better the connection that you'll make with that. So when you're bending down to pick something up, you're pushing, pulling, you're thinking, right, I'm going to engage that body. The more you think, the better you work, the stronger you get. It's all about that mindset again. As it is. It's about the mindset, the breath, and the way we move. So the more you think while you're actually in action and you're using your body's strength, the better you make that connection, rather than thinking about something that's not relevant. Remember what I keep saying, live in your now. It's exactly the same. You're living in your now to ensure that you're moving your body to its best ability for what you've got. Remember, our bodies are constantly evolving. Look, we're going to use the word evolve instead of age now. I like that so much better. How about you? As I evolve... Anyway, have an awesome day. Think about what I said. Think about moving when you're moving. Think about your strength and strengthen your body with your mind, as well as your toes, tummy, tongue. Use your fascia. Go and Google fascia. Go and have a look at what it does. It's relatively new science in the scheme of things. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I shall see you all around and about very soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.